You're listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. It is the illusion of choice! The question is it really? Perhaps it's an illusion of choice. It is possible. In this case, it is actually an illusion of choice because you've all come up with some really bad topics. Like, terrible topics. I mean, God! Absolutely abysmal. Now, there is one here that I suppose I could have a look at, but I'll be honest, it doesn't really make a massive amount of sense. It's from J-Man MC, and he says this. How do you feel about Blizzard coming out with new content, but then changing the old content to be much harder than forcing us to relearn the old bosses? When did that ever happen? just out of interest, because I don't remember a single occurrence. So I suppose I'd have feelings about it if it, ever happened, which it doesn't, and never has, at least as far as I'm aware. I don't recall ever having to relearn a boss or whatever. The only time it's ever happened... Actually, Ulduar is a good example. When Ulduar first came out, the trash for XC002 didn't work, which meant that you could just sail straight into XD002 and not have to worry about any trash whatsoever. Now, of course, when the trash came up, and the trash was initially quite hard, it gave us pause, because we had to relearn part of the instance. I.e., we had to learn that we couldn't just run in there, because we'd die. And then they nerfed that a few times and made it an absolute joke so you could AoE it, because Lord knows, providing trash that you can't AoE is an incredibly new concept and scares people. But no, I don't remember any other occurrences of that honestly happening, so I don't know if I can really give you an answer for that. So you know what? I'm going to read some more emails on this subject. You've got about 10 minutes or so to submit all your emails about 3.2. I'll read a couple more, then I'll go and finish the show off with some shout-outs. Yes, indeed. Now, here's one from Calvin Hobbs, and he says this. Hey, TB, I know that you haven't been a part of 3.2 yet, and I found something interesting the other day. I hit the achievement. Yes, we know the not one, but two Jawmanga Worms achievement. Yes, we know about that one. You gotta bear in mind that Blizzard kind of seeded the joke and seeded the meme, and some of us idiots decided to pick up on it. So that's really what ended up happening. It's fun nonetheless. I love the Jawmanga Worms thing. I think it's awesome. One of these days I'm gonna actually get someone to properly sing that song. A few weeks ago, you might be aware if you listen to the show that we did a song called Jawmanga Worms. And it was a parody of Ozzy Osbourne's Bark of the Moon. Now, if any of you have ever sung Ozzy Osbourne or think you can sing it, drop me an email, themurloc@gmail.com. That is themurloc@gmail.com, because I'll tell you who can't sing it, me. I can't sing Ozzy Osbourne for the life of me. I sound terrible. Absolutely abysmal, but it's got great lyrics, and I've got a backing track. So, if you're willing to give it a shot, you get it played on the show, email themurloc@gmail.com. Who knows, there might be a mystery prize. Oh, yes. Mystery prizes are always good. And while I'm on the subject of cool stuff that's hopefully going to be happening relatively soon, you remember a little while ago I went on Rawcast to do a guest spot. Well, I'll be doing another guest spot around BlizzCon, and I'll be competing against Terpster for the Rawcast quiz that they blatantly ripped off us. Yes, we came up with the idea for a quiz show, Rawcast stole it. Their quiz isn't as good as our quiz, but now we'll give them the benefit of the doubt, and I'll be competing against Terpster for prizes and mostly EP. It is mostly EP, let's admit it. We don't really care what prizes are involved. It's all going to be about the EP. All I can say is I hope he's doing his research. It would be very unpleasant if he was pounded into the ground, wouldn't it? That's what he gets for playing a gnome. If he didn't want to be pounded into the ground, he should have played a proper race, like, Troll. No one can pound a troll into the ground because they're much taller than everyone else. And we're so scrawny that we have the ability to go invisible by turning sideways. It's awesome. Now, that wasn't all, however. I'll be going on another cast, actually. You may have heard of a place called Virgin Worlds. And Virgin Worlds is a podcast hub for certain podcasts about MMOs. They've got a couple of podcasts. They've got stuff about EVE, stuff about Warhammer, got a Lord of the Rings one on there, a couple of general ones. And one they've got at the moment is, oddly enough, run by two nuns. Yes, I found this rather intriguing. Two nuns came up with this. I I don't know why. It is quite amusing. But apparently they decided they wanted to do a podcast. So they sent me an invitation to be on the show, which goes by the name of No Prisoners, No Mercy, which is a MMO podcast show thing, which will be airing at some point. I don't have a specific air date for this yet, but all I know is I'm recording it tomorrow with them. So I will post that on the front page on wcradio.com, so keep your eyes peeled for me plus 2 nuns, which is probably some kind of fantasy that I would imagine some of you sick freaks kind of have in mind. I don't know, we run the gamut on WoW Radio when it comes to our audience members. I know that we've got several furries listening right now. Now, I'm not going to mention the fact that I would like all furries to be incinerated. No, I'm not going to mention that at all. But, you know, each to their own. Just incinerate all the furries. Now, it's a free source of energy for the world. It's perfect. Right. Emails. A couple of last emails, then we'll finish the show. As you may have managed to work out of the show, I've not been in the best of sorts. I'm very, very tired after a very long week. So I do apologise if I'm not up to my usual standard. I'm hoping to get back into WoW soon and actually get passionate about the game again. I imagine something's going to either infuriate me or excite me in some way over the next couple of weeks, especially with BlizzCon on its way. Oh, yes. So, I'm going to read one more email and I'm going to finish the show off. So, here we go. It's from Bjorn Schultz, also known as Thorin, from Argent Dawn. And he made some comment that he claimed to be ironic. Now, of course, the irony being that, no, it was not ironic at all. He says this: some thoughts on the state of patch 3.2. Blizzard has already announced that this will be the second to last raid instance of Wrath of the Lich King. This means that this is in effect the same as Black Temple and AQ40 progress-wise. Now, when people complained about Naxxramas being too easy, Blizzard replied with the excuse that it was the first raid instance, and that later on we would get proper raids. So why on earth is the new raid actually easier than the earlier bosses of Ulduar? I'm sorry, but you should never, ever, ever be able to go into a tier 9 raid instance after 1 hour of tries without having read any strats whatsoever down the boss, or rather 3 of them. Overall, this patch can be summed up as why? Pretty much all it feels is too easy and too pointless and too repetitive. The daily quests are unimaginative, the sets are horrible, at least for Shaman, the heroic 5-man is easier than the current 5-mans, yet yields better gear. Never mind the gear in terms of the mechanics employed, most of it is tank and spank. Sorry, I've done jousting for the past, well, too long, for it to be fun again without a proper twist. They then try and justify the entire thing throughout the content, but the more they try to make it make sense lore-wise, the more you realise that there isn't any sense to be made. While you may think this doesn't matter, part of what makes a good experience is the feeling that what you're doing is actually making sense. Going through any of the vanilla instances felt like it had a purpose to it. Yet in the arena, it's impossible to shake the ridiculousness of the whole thing. So why on earth is the 25-man gear now completely identical to look at the 10-man? Not 1, but 2 Jawmanga worms. Sums up the PvE part of this patch. It feels weak, bad, too easy, unfinished, and lazy. One good thing is the new battleground, Isle of Conquest. It's my opinion the best battleground we have had after the death of AV. It feels epic, it's varied, and more important, it's fun, and actually results in the sides fighting each other. But since battlegrounds don't offer any progression or way to improve the character, it still begets the question, why go there? Yeah, that's actually a really good point. I do find it bizarre that the main piece of content that you bring into your new patch actually has no part in the progression path whatsoever. And that is really odd. I know you can buy some of the really old season gear with honor points, but there is really no progression at all. I mean, without the old honor system being in place, what is there to do? I mean, all the progression's been shifted over to arenas, so when you bring in a new piece of content like that makes the arenas look less popular, and then you realise, well, it's not actually a part of the progression path. I can't really progress in this at all, it's just here to muck around in. It's a little bit disconcerting. I'm not going to dispute that. I would like to see Battlegrounds part of some proper progression path. As to how? Well, you know what, Blizz, go and do what you do best, and that's look at other games and steal some good ideas. Not saying that's a bad thing, I'm just saying you've got a big part of your game that is, quite frankly, stagnant. Go fix it. My name is Total Biscuit, you've been listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio. I am out of here after a few quick shoutouts, so email themurloc@gmail.com, that is themurloc@gmail.com. Alternatively, send me a PM on IRC. IRC.MMOIRC.com, #pound WoW Radio. Or click the chat button on the top of the screen on WCRadio.com. Last but by no means least, you can tweet me by typing @TotalBiscuit. That is the @ Total Biscuit and send it over there. 150 or so characters or less. Yes, indeed. So, I do have a shout-out that was actually sent in, which I would love to do except for the fact that my mouse is broken. What? Why? Why would you do this? Blink it, computer. Right, yeah. Plug it back in. There! Works perfectly. Excellent. For the next 5 minutes before it breaks again. So I do have a shout-out that was sent in quite a while ago. It's by a guy who's going to the Bloodstock Festival. And he says this: could myself and my friend get a shout-out on today's show for dressing up as the Knights of Ni for the Bloodstock Festival? I'm making my giant flag today that says on one side, we are the keepers of the sacred words, and on the other side, Ni! I'm planning on throwing my helmet on stage when Churasas are on. That's from John and Chris. Yes, you can. I look forward to drinking mead and eating meat, listening to metal at Bloodstock with you next weekend. Shall be awesome. A shout out to me for leveling my characters through PvP. It is the win. That's from Ragavale from Doomhammer EU. Something I may consider doing at some point. Can I get a shout out to the Ironclad Regiment on Karak Norn? It's part of the Noble Brotherhood Guild Alliance. Wah! Whatever that means. That's from Limus. Shout out to Torrendoza on Markelvin of Shiandras US. Can I get a shout out to my mom who is listening to this because I'm blasting it from my room, saying this guy needs some vodka to chill out. Where's the fun in that? Why would you want to dull the senses? Why not get angry about something? Why not get passionate about something? I would say something about showing your mum some passion and all, but somehow I don't think she's gonna go for that. Shout out to Felinaria, Silverhand US, for finally finishing a complete show at work. Congratulations. A shout out to Sylphia on Feathermoon US. You're an awesome druid tank, no matter who says otherwise. That's from Zarya, obviously a fanboy there. Could I get a shout out to my wife, who is on the other side of the country doing the military thing, and my guild Anima. Let's kill Yogg faster. That's from Celind. Yes, you can. A shout out to Ace of Spade on Zenadar EU for whining because my friend put a train on the floor while waiting for buffs. She almost got kicked from the guild. You suck. Can I get a shout out to the Wrath Guild on Dragonblight EU from Steffi, and an In the Mountains drop-in, if you please. What? In the mountains?
In the mountains.
No, you may not. Can I get a shout out to Hodir for his trash Winter Jawmanga Worms? Yes, not 2 but 20 Jawmanga Worms. Can I get a shout out to Mopman for being an awesome help on the WoW Radio desktop notifier? Yes, you can, and you should check out the WoW Radio forums. There's a handy little program that tells you when your shows are going to be on air. Very helpful. Check out general discussion. Look for the WoW Radio notifier. Ladies and gents, I'll do a couple more off of Twitter, and then that will, as they say, be that. Shout out to my guild Blood Oath on Hydraxis US from Nida. And a shout out to Schlemo for getting full epics in 2 days from the new patch. You are everything that's wrong with WoW! Zen calm, folks. Zen calm. I'm done. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been listening to Blue Please here on WoW Radio with myself, Total Biscuit. I won't be on next week. I'll be doing it on the Wednesday after the fact, because I'll be at Bloodstock. We're doing the Wednesday Blue Please Massacre. It shall be great fun. Check out the rest of our shows on WCRadio.com. You'll be glad that you did, because they are all fantastic. Rate and review us using iTunes, and I will be back on Tuesday with my show Gaming the System. If you like your games, you like your video games, and your gaming videos, stuff like that, myself and Swag will be taking you through the world of video games on Tuesday at 7 p.m. British Standard Time. It's 2 p.m. EST on WCRadio.com. Check out our sponsors, Buff.net, UGT servers, and Shoutcast Radio on our website, WCRadio.com. Thank you ever so much for listening. As always, you are a fantastic audience, except for the guys that aren't. You all suck. Those little guys. They're the little portion. They suck. The rest of you are great. I'll leave you to battle amongst yourselves as to which of you suck and which of you don't. I'm gone. That was Blue Please. I'm Total Biscuit. I was Total Biscuit. I will continue to be Total Biscuit. Good night.